To start off, you have to unlock the wagon fence. You have to get that unlocked. And in order to do that, you need to complete Chapter 2, The Spines of America. That's with Hosea, who shows up as an H on your map, I believe. Not on this specific map, but on the map in general. You have to complete that mission with Hosea in order to unlock the wagon fence. And the first tip is pretty obvious, and that's you want to, save your game, just in case, something doesn't quite go like you intended or something doesn't go right. You want to make sure you have it saved, of course. Tip number 2 is that you want to try to target areas close to the Emerald Ranch area. We're talking about stagecoaches. We're looking about this little spot right here. When you see a stagecoach, the reason we're talking about that is it has 4 horses. And we're going to get into whether it's worth more to deliver it to a wagon fence or take it to a horse stables. We'll look into that in a little bit. Also, there's one, I think, near, if you go south, you can't see it on the map here, but if you head south to Rhodes, there's one over there that's available as well. And I think a little bit of distance from here is Valentine's somewhere off that way. But, what you want to do is you want to target areas that are close to the Emerald Ranch, because there's only one wagon fence. There's only one of these things. Only one of them. Now, there may be a few stables where you can move up horses, and we'll look at the cost later, but there's only one wagon fence. So you want to try to keep as close as you can, if possible, because it'll save you time. That's why I would give that tip. So, yeah, that's that tip right there. Let's focus on the next tip, and that's, if you can see right here, he is wearing a mask. He's wearing a bandana to cover his face. If you want to use a mask, because that disguises your identity, and it makes it harder for them to see you, and harder to get a bounty. Not impossible, but more difficult to get a bounty, because they don't know who did it. It's hard to charge Arthur Morgan with robbery. And again, that goes back to the point. Next tip is basically you want to try to minimize the bounty. Minimize being key here. And that means, get in there quickly. Don't escalate by shooting up the place, shooting a bunch of people. Just, get out of that area. Which is our next tip, basically, is leave that red circle. You want to leave the red circle as soon as you can. Get out of there quickly. You want to leave that red circle. Get out of there. Move out of that red circle. However you have to do it. Find a way. Get out of there. Keep your identity concealed, per se. But try to get out of there as fast as you can. And once you've done that, you can go to the next steps, which is the fun part and the more challenging part. And that question is basically wagon fence or horse stables, which yields the best? Our first option is obviously the wagon fence. And there's only one of them. It's obviously at the Emerald Ranch. And, we can talk to Seamus, and he'll be happy to purchase that, provided it's not damaged. But the question is, how much does it yield going through the wagon fence? Looks like the yield on that is about $25. Now, the question is, can we get more going to a horse stable? And what we're going to do for a horse stable is we would cut free each additional horse and see what we're getting yield-wise. So let's try that. All right, let's take it into the stable here. And one of the things you'll notice is that you can't sell a stolen horse right away. You have to ride around with it, let it bond a little bit before you attempt to do that. And you don't have to do a lot, maybe jump a rock or two. You don't have to get it up to level 1. You just have to bond a little bit before you can get it inside the stable. So, yeah, basically after doing all this stuff with a horse, we're only getting $2.40. Now we can do better if we bond up and increase our levels over time, but that takes time. So, we can get a little bit, but if you multiply that multiply 240 times 4, you're going to get $9.60. And that is, less than 25. So one option is to basically just maybe sell 2 horses and then go back to the horse fence and see if we can't sell the wagon as well. So in this scenario, we're taking a wagon. We sold 2 horses. We're taking the wagon with 2 horses to Seamus and seeing if he'll buy it and seeing what it'll pay us. Now we've gotten the $240 for each, so we've gotten almost $5 for that. And we're also going to see what he pays us as well. And it looks like he's given us $25, which is really good, because that brings our total up to around 30. So yeah, this strategy will yield more money. Basically take it to the stables, cut free 2 horses, sell them there, and then take it to the wagon fence with the other 2 horses. Now the question is it worth your time? And that's a real good question. And again, that goes back to our first tip, which is basically targeting stuff close to the Emerald Ranch area. If you do that, you'll be able to save time and accumulate piles of money faster. And that pretty much wraps this up. I'd like to thank you all for watching and wish you good luck in your play.